Not prepare to preach a long message. I don't preach long ones, but I have to get my point across. Well, they said don't even try to get your point across. There's going to be something I'm going to say, but they said this begins the 40th anniversary of Abundant Life Center, Abundant Life Cathedral. And there's little clips that you're going to see. Now, I haven't seen them yet. Today is my first time seeing this. So I'm going to see it right along with you. But I'm going to be telling you a story. And that story is absolutely fascinating. I'm going to step back from within this thing. And I'm going to look from the outside. And I'm going to tell you a lot of things, even about some of our future. So you don't want to miss this at all. I'll be right back.
On this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Abundant Life Cathedral Church, the church of tomorrow today. A ministry that is building the people that shape the world.
If you're watching this by rebroadcast, thank you. Thank you for letting us come into your sanctuary. Now, I call it a sanctuary because wherever you are, if you're watching this on your phone, if you're watching this on your computer, if you're watching this on an iPad, or wherever you are on the big screen television, that's your sanctuary. This moment that you have carved out. I told everybody, don't turn on the chicken yet. I hope you got your sandwich. If you eating whatever you're doing, take this time. This is your moment in your sanctuary. Come to find out, many of you have told me that you may not be with me on Sunday morning at the exact time, but you usually pick a time to watch this. Some of you say faithfully at 3. Some of you do an evening service. Some of you before sleep. So I'm always aware of how you watch this. So it doesn't matter what time it is or where you are. This is our sanctuary time. This is our moment of connection. And I'm aware of that. Treat this, even if you're watching by rebroadcast, as if it's live. Click the share button. Just like you said, well, nobody share it with them right now at this particular time of watching. Hit the share button. And not only that, if today you're watching and you're saying, hey, I like some of the things you're saying, or I want to send some positive feedback, or I want to send some positive amens. I just want to say, congratulations. I want to say anything you want to say. What are they, emojis? I don't think they're emoticons. Oh my goodness, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You can send those, or you can say, type in your comments, all of those things. I'll watch them later and see all of this. So that's a part of what we're doing today too. And of course, if you like it, press the like button. Let us know that you like it. It has to do with the algorithms. And hit the subscribe button. So make sure that the next time we come on, you'll be notified, and the notification bell, they're telling me these are the things that you have to say. Look, let me tell you a story. And I want to step outside of being Dr. Ed, Pastor Ed, for a moment. And just so you'll know how this all came about. For the next year, and especially for the next 40 days, we're going to be talking about different subjects. I'm going to be sharing things with you, not just the next 40 days, every week, because this is Sensational Sunday. And we're going to talk about things that just very interesting numbers, especially that number 40. And I know I might seem to be rambling. This is not just because the old man or something is coming out of me that I'm rambling. No, I'm trying to get to that place because I'm getting ready to have to say it about Sandra. And sometimes my voice gets a little, I just be honest when I'm being human with you. It's been now a year, August 10th. it will be 1 year since Sandra Lane went to be with the Lord. And that's coming up. And this is the Sunday, the second Sunday, I believe, in August, is when the official date that ALC started. Of course, we started services in July, but that was not when we advertised it or whatever. It was that second Sunday in August. Now, if you will add that up, here's this story I'm about to tell you. 40 years ago, to this date, is how long I was given with Sandra in this earth plane that we were given. She as a pastor and as a leader of women and a part of our congregation and leader of our congregation. 40 years. No more, no less. And that right there is one of those number things. 40 years ago, we went to our first building, which was called 5900 All Day. Some of you have heard that story. And we didn't have any members, but the man who leased us the building said, look, I don't know about your congregation or, but I don't trust your congregation because I don't know your congregation. He said, but I'm going to trust you. He know we didn't have any members. He said, I'm going to trust you guys. And he trusted us. And we started. And we continued. And we made it even to 40 years. But 40 years ago, the same man, it was his first building, strip center that he had built. And now, 40 years later, we connected again. And he said, listen, I got all of this, these buildings out here. He said, we started together. Let's finish this thing together. And I said, okay. So he found a prime space for us. Not a humongous, but a space that's livable for us. Because I told him what my new vision was. And believe me, this is another vision. It's nothing crazy. You're going to love it. And how it's structured and how ALC will have service. And we're going to have service like we always have something, our rip roaring, whatever service we have, you're going to love it. It's going to be nothing way out of the box, but it's going to be a nice new space. And that was 40 years ago. So 40 years in life, 40 years there. I could go on and on about 40. We've come full circle now. Jesus was in the wilderness. How long? 40 days. Noah, it rained in that ark. How long? 40 days, 40 nights. But there's a message, there's a story about the children of Israel, the Hebrews, that were going around a mountain or going around in a circle. They went around that circle for 40 years. And after that 40 years, it was up. God, the spirit of this entire universe, the God of our being, spoke and said, you have compassed or gone around this mountain, or you've gone around in circles long enough. It is time to turn northward. It is time to move into another direction. How many of you are feeling that inside of your spirit, inside of your soul, that there is a turn concerning the direction of your life, your career, your business? Oh yeah. I know some of you hitting that like button, some of you are saying in that comment button, that's me. If that's you, you can hit that in the comment button, that's me. Some of you are feeling a turn. Don't be afraid of it. And for some, it's been that 40 years or 220s, 20 years. It's been 20 years for some of you because you're not that old. But 20 years. See, 20 is half of 40. 20 is also a generational number. We're changing. We're changing in our theology. We're changing in our thinking. Do you know people have been talking about, we've been going back to church, and I'm ready to go back to church, but some have already started going back. And I'm already beginning to hear some people saying, I went back to church. I thought it was going to be one way, but I'm feeling a hunger down in my soul. And something it's not clicking. I have spent these last 12 months. Now think of this. These last 12 months, it's actually been over a year. Thinking about how do we go into this next? How do we turn north? How do we go into this next dimension of our living? What can I say to help people make this turn in their business? And this is not just about me preaching to you, but it is about saying that I believe that we're at this place where if we don't make this turn now, that if you don't make this shift now, that we might get stuck in a circle and it'll take another 40 years to get out. I believe we're at a turn concerning our politics, concerning our country, concerning democracy, concerning relationship. People are missing each other. God is trying to hook people up. And the people he's trying to hook up, they're trying to hook up with something else. They can't even see the direction that God is leading. It has taken us 40 years to get to this space. 40 years. And there are some clips that they told me. They said, there's some clips that you need to see. I haven't seen them. So I'm going to see them along with you. And there are some things that there's some people. They're going to be saying it all year long. So get ready. We'll be seeing some of these things, for a whole year because we got a whole year to celebrate. But this is the beginning of 40 years. This is the beginning. Sandra and I started 40 years ago. This is the beginning of where we go from here. So I want to take you to these clips and I'll be back, share some more things with you. Okay? All right. Let's see what it looks like together.
Pastor Ed, first of all, we want to say congratulations on 40 years of ministry at Abundant Life Cathedral. We thank you for all of the seeds that you have sown into our lives to help us grow and to become all that God has destined for us to be. So again, we want to say thank you and congratulations.
We also would like to say congratulations to our amazing Abundant Life Cathedral Center family. We have the most anointed and appointed pastor in the universe. The seeds he has sown are countless. We thank you, Pastor, and we appreciate you. And we'd be remiss to forget our First Lady, who is now gone on to be our angel, with all that she has sown into the women of Abundant Life Cathedral. She kept us mothers and wives in line so that our families would be intact and we would follow the word and the will of God for our lives.
The youth honors Dr. Sandra for her commitment to our growth by providing us with opportunities. We love you and we cherish you in our hearts forever.
So from our family and hearts to yours, again, Pastor Red, we want to say thank you and congratulations.
Hi, I'm Cy Matthews.
And I'm Michael Matthews.
And we're here to wish Abundant Life Cathedral a happiest 40th anniversary.
And we just want to take a moment and thank Pastor Ed and Sister Sandra for everything that you've done in our lives. Your ministry has been an overflowing blessing to our marriage, our family, our business. And we just want to wish you continual success in ministry. ALC family, man, it is a blessing. Get ready for the new church, the powerful word that's coming, and may we see many more years to come.
Happy 40th anniversary, ALC.
Happy 40th anniversary, Dr. Ed Montgomery and ALC. I'm grateful to have been a part of the ALC staff for 20 years and part of the ALC family for over 30 years. When I visited in April 1990, I had no idea of what God was up to. I saw ministry on a level that I had never seen before, where excellence was the standard. And I saw it not only in Dr. Ed and Dr. Sandra, but in everyone who worked in ministry, from staff to volunteers, from the parking lot to the sanctuary, and I'm grateful that God chose me to be a part of this great church. I watched God lift ALC, Dr. Zed and Sandra, and the ministries housed here to national and international prominence. And in our travels, I've seen other ministries who, by our example, have accepted the challenge to operate in excellence. Pastor, I'm grateful to you and Dr. Sandra for the teaching, the discipline, for pulling me out of my comfort zone, for helping me to see who God called me to be, and for the opportunity and platform to use my gifts. I'm grateful to you for making my family a part of your family, for the good cooking, bid whist, and dominoes. I'm grateful for the love of the ALC family, for friendships of 30 plus years that transcend the four walls of the church. Wherever we go in life, whatever we accomplish, we carry the spirit of this house, building the people who shape the world. Congratulations, Dr. Ed Montgomery and ALC. I love you all.
Hey. It's Darius McCrary, and I'm hanging out with my mom, actually, Miss Shay. And we want to say happy anniversary, Abundant Life Cathedral. Uncle Ed, Auntie Sandra, rest in power. We were just taking the time to reflect on this time right now. Look, that's probably you ringing the alarm, Aunt Sandra. Wow. I will never forget, and I was talking to Simeon about how you used to always tell me, no matter what the trend was, no matter what was going on, I didn't have to follow what everybody else was doing because I was popular by design. Popular by design of the Creator. And Uncle Ed, I just want to thank you for you always being there whenever I call, with advice about how I should be moving. I thank you for your willingness to make sure that whatever it is I'm doing, I'm succeeding in being the best that I can. And thank you for your knowledge, which is amazing. Like you know Hollywood business very well. I love you. ALC, we love you. Yeah, it's about abundant life. We're going to keep living it, taking it to the next level. Until the next celebration, love you up.
The sun is setting here, and I'm trying again to capture this video as we celebrate this morning the richness of the ministry of Abundant Life and my dear friend, Dr. Sandra Elaine. Wow, what a gift. The month of August, the month that her flesh left the earth this time last year, but yet her spirit remains. I'm reminded of the baton that she passed on. When I learned that she had left the earth, I went to the pond behind my house and sat there, and I felt what came through me was, from her, you will complete what I didn't do. So she's right. I'm using my voice. I will speak my truth, and I will declare the blessings of the Lord. She was a risk taker. She was a team player, as you well know, Dr. Montgomery. And for all of you who called her pastor and co-pastor, she was my friend over 20 years. She taught me how not to take myself too seriously. And during that season of my life, she just demystified a lot of things for me and made a lot of sense. So I'm grateful. She remained in her authenticity, her candor, her transparency. That's how she stayed alive. So, yes, I'll miss those pots and plates of collard greens and those breakfasts that I sat around the table and those conversations that I had with she and Dr. Montgomery. Those are gone forever. But I hold her in my heart, as I'm sure you do, with the rich memories of the gifts, the special places that you visited together, the shopping sprees, the fun that you had. And I too hold this dearly in my heart. And so we celebrate this day. The rich ministry, over 40 years for you, 20 years of friendship for me. I hold her deeply in my heart. Thank you for your works, Dr. Montgomery. And I get to live the abundant life that I live and the impartation that has been made to me over the years through your ministry. bless you. Namaste.
Wow. All right. Okay. I'm gonna get this in my little tissue. So I've learned if a tear falls, it just falls, and that's just the way it is. At this stage of my life, there's no need of me trying to be strong for the people out there. You know, we didn't go in the beginning trying to build the biggest church in the world. And our goal was just to be able to touch or just to communicate, to be a part of our community with people. And Sandra in the beginning just wanted to fry some chicken and make some macaroni and cheese. And it was through that, the ability of eating that and food, and it had nothing to do with the food. It had to do with the fact that the food brought people together and created bonds. Do you know that even to this day in ALC, the bonds of people who have come together at ALC, whether they're at our church or not, are still tight? And I know they get, frustrated and stuff, and they said, no matter where I go, I can't seem to make that bond with other places or other people as tight as it was with my ALC family. Well, that's because you were born into something. Something was birthed in you. There's nothing wrong with that. It's about community. Actually, you're a lifelong member of ALC. You just might as well just go on and come to the realization there's nothing you can do about that. So just go on and send your monthly gift in and said lifelong member wherever you are in the world. It's always been about community. We grew up ALC on TV, doing TV commercials right here in the city. I remember we didn't have a dime, but we wouldn't let nobody bully us around. We believed that we had a big bark and we had something to say, and we was only in 1,000 square feet of a building, but we did it. And we did it because we believed that the God that was in us was bigger than anything that is around us, and we had something to say. That's why I believe all of you all have something to say. Don't lose the legacy of what ALC is inside of you. Don't ever lose that legacy. ALC, or Abundant Life Center, Abundant Life Cathedral. Abundant Life Center is the new name for the new generation. Abundant Life Cathedral is how, but actually it started as Abundant Life Center. That's how actually it began. But don't let that churches, or where you go to church, or whether I don't go there anymore, do you still go there? Hey, can that. At this stage right now, after this last year or so, everybody was out of church. There was nothing anybody could do. Who's got the biggest church? Well, right now doesn't mean nobody knows who's got the biggest church, and who cares? You know what a big church is? Is not the building that you're in. The church is the people. The building is the building. The church is the people. When the people go into the building, you can say, oh, we're at church. We're having church. Notice it says we're having church. After you've had church, guess what? The people come out. That means the church left, and the building goes back to being a building. It's never stopped being a building. The building is not the church. And this is one of the reasons the way we're building now. We're building for community. That's right. Oh, we're going to have church. But it's about community. It's about merging our ability to connect, not only in-house, but online. And when we connect, to be able to do things through the week or whatever it is. But it's something that people will say, you know what? This makes me feel good, because I'm tired of folk just, being a Christian, and they're so sour and they're so mad at life and so mean and don't care about life. You're supposed to enjoy the journey. You're supposed to enjoy your life and enjoy your relationships. I think we got to begin to teach people how to be happy. That's my new slogan now, is teach you how to discover your purpose, how to pursue your purpose, how to grow your faith, and how to enjoy your life. That's what all of this is about. How many of you want to live happy? Hey, now I didn't say you're going to be happy every minute of the day. Nobody wants to be that. Nobody can stand that kind of drug, forever. But you don't have to live down in the dumps. You can live this fantastic, happy life. This is what 40 years is about. You take the snapshot of ALC's 40 years. It's not about mistakes that we've made, because we've made some mistakes, believe me. Dr. Ed has made some mistakes, and I'm quite sure there's some out there that'll testify, oh yeah, you made some. I can't deny that. But when you take the snapshot of 40 years, you'll begin to see that, wow, something has been done. People have been reached. So this is where we are now. All I want to do now is help this generation to find their purpose in the coming years, because I'm not going to be here forever. None of us are. We don't know when that day is, but my goal is to help people find it. Look, I've got I don't have to preach all the time. I got a wonderful group of people around me who can preach, who can teach. I'm not going to do all of that for 40 years, but what I am going to do is I'm going to make sure that the message is solid in whoever's preaching and teaching, that you understand God is not just up there, out there, but God is in you, through you, in you, as you. This is the key to the message, and everything comes from there. Oh yeah, your Christianity, your faith, your sense of self, your self-worth, your sense of understanding is about to take that leap. If you ain't got there yet, you're about to take that leap. You're going to be prosperous, sound of mind, stable in your emotions. That's what ALC is. That's how I see 40 years. What do I see in the days to come? Where is ALC going to be? What is it going to be about? Where are we going to be? How long is it going to take to open? Don't go away. I'm going to tell you that as soon as I come back. All right? All right, I'm going to break some news and reveal some information. All right. Hello, this is Dr. Ed. Le fleur, flower, French, comes from a root word which gives us affluence. I believe that affluence is like a figure 8. It goes not just around in a circle, but it weaves around and it picks up things as it goes along. We talk about giving when we talk about seed planting. We always talk about that. Put a seed in the ground and the flower comes up. But once that flower has its structure, once the flower comes up out of the ground, from that point on, you never have to plant a seed again. The flower reproduces by opening up, and a bee comes along or an insect, and it smells, or however it senses, that sweet nectar in that flower, and that flower is willing to give of that nectar. And then the bee goes along, finds another flower, and then it says, boy, that nectar was sweet. I want some more. But what the bee has done is it picked up pollen from the previous flower, takes the pollen to the next flower takes the pollen and uses it to reproduce. So what you have is giving and receiving. And you have to give a sweetness, something that makes sense. And you receive, and through your giving and receiving, you reproduce. That's what ALC has done for 40 years. Our goal is to provide the sweetest nectar so that when you give, you also receive and you reproduce in your life. Take a moment right now. And if not now, make sure you do it right after this. And go to our website, myalc.org. That's myalc.org. Click the donate button and give your best gift right now. And like so many, you can use your phone and you can use that text to give. And all you got to do is dial 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Type in the amount you're going to give. $40, $140, whatever you're doing. We're doing 40 because it's our 40th anniversary. But whatever you do, make it your best gift. Do it from your heart. Because you know what? You are going to reproduce. And you're going to reproduce in such a way, God's going to do amazing things in your life. Thank you so much for all of your contributions. And thank you for what you're about to do right now. Okay? All right. Take a moment, hit that share button, because I'm getting ready to tell you something. I'm getting ready to give you just one point. And then we're gonna pray together, because I believe in the power of prayer. But I'm gonna give you just one point. There's one little point that I'm gonna tell you. So take this moment and hit that share button with somebody that you like, somebody that thinks a little bit like you, and tell them, listen, you want to hear this. This is going to be about your future. If they don't hear anything I said today or whatever, there are little nuggets throughout this whole entire broadcast. And some of you heard them. You heard these nuggets. So hit that share button, share it with a friend, put it on your watch party, all those different things. And also your comments. If you're outside of the city of Houston, let me know what city you're watching from. Those of you who are watching from outside of the state of Texas, type in your state. Let me know. I'm saying hi to all of you out there in Massachusetts, California, Florida. These are all our states. Indiana, Illinois, New York, Oklahoma. All of these are all of our states. And I haven't forgot. I'll get the rest of them next week. And hit that like button. Here it is. Here it is. Because of COVID and because of churches being shut down and politics that have been going on, I've been teaching about, and I'm going to tell you that little point that I'm going to bring up, because of the teaching that's going on in some churches. That whole thing about voting rights. There seems to be this conflict, this racial conflict. Our world is changing into a direction that's going to be permanent. We're not going to snap back like a rubber band this time and become the same America as we were, or the same church as we were. And you're not going to have the same feeling of faith as you did. Because whether you know it or not, you have grown over the last 14 to 16 months. Yes, you have grown. And you're going to need, here we go, some grown folk food. You're no longer going to be milk people. You need some grown folk food. This is something you're going to have to chew. Last week, and next week I'm going to pick it up. But last week, we talked about pick up your bed and walk. Some of you are about to pick up your bed and walk into a whole nother direction. And you're not going back to the place where you were lame. No. We will hurt. We will hit bumps in the road. There will be tears in our eyes. There will be things that we remember that have broken our hearts. There will be places that we will not want to revisit. There will be divisions in how you think about things and how others think about things. But there's one thing that we must take now, and that is to pick up your bed and walk. And don't be afraid to tell people, I'm not going back to that old religious thinking. I'm ready to walk into a whole new horizon. I'm ready to follow my dream. I'm ready to follow my direction now. I love milk. Maybe I'll have some milk and cookies. But that's not my main food. I'm getting ready to change my diet. I'm going to see God in a whole different way. Look, I'm going to be right here with you. I'm going to hold your hand. It's been 40 years, but I'm not ahead of you. We've all been walking 40 years together. It's time to turn, go into another direction. Are you ready? Come on, pray with me. Join hands or stretch your hands out to the screen. You've heard people say that. We'll touch and agree. Father, I thank you for this life. There are some right now that are watching that have dealt with sickness. There are some right now whose bodies, they need a miracle. I touch and agree with them. And I pray that the power of this entire universe, I call on you, Lord, that right where you are, that you will agree with all of us. Let the energy of this prayer heal broken hearts, mend wounded minds, cure messed up religious thinking, heal our churches, our places. And I thank you that in every one of these areas, we will have the victory. Amen. You hear those bells? That means my time is up. Thank you for 40 years. I can't wait to see you next week. Hello, this is Dr. Ed. Le fleur, flower, French, comes from a root word which gives us affluence. I believe that affluence is like a figure eight. It goes not just around in a circle, but it weaves around and it picks up things as it goes along. We talk about giving when we talk about seed planting. We always talk about that. Put a seed in the ground and the flower comes up. But once that flower has its structure, once the flower comes up out of the ground, from that point on, you never have to plant a seed again. The flower reproduces by opening up, and a bee comes along or an insect, and it smells or however it senses that sweet nectar in that flower, and that flower is willing to give of that nectar. And then the bee goes along, finds another flower, and then it says, boy, that nectar was sweet. I want some more. But what the bee has done is it picked up pollen from the previous flower, takes the pollen to the next flower takes the pollen and uses it to reproduce. So what you have is giving and receiving. And you have to give a sweetness, something that makes sense. And you receive, and through your giving and receiving, you reproduce. That's what ALC has done for 40 years. Our goal is to provide the sweetest nectar, so that when you give, you also receive and you reproduce in your life. Take a moment right now. And if not now, make sure you do it right after this. And go to our website, myalc.org. That's myalc.org. Click the donate button and give your best gift right now. And like so many, you can use your phone and you can use that text to give. And all you got to do is dial 713-742-2035. That's 713-742-2035. Type in the amount you're going to give. $40, $140, whatever you're doing. We're doing 40 because it's our 40th anniversary. But whatever you do, make it your best gift. Do it from your heart. Because you know what? You are going to reproduce. And you're going to reproduce in such a way, God's going to do amazing things in your life. Thank you so much for all of your contributions. And thank you for what you're about to do right now. Okay? All right.